no one is immune from spending. Rich or poor, we are all spending. Yes. And you see, the result from the spending will be seen. Great evening, guys. Thank you so much for joining us again on another exciting Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade. Yes, I am Mr. Upgrade, and I'm super excited to be back again for another exciting conversation on the Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade. You know, on this Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade, we do this every Sundays from 7 p.m. through to 8 p.m. And we basically just get to do four things. Yes. Number one, we get to take your questions. So if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to send in the questions and we'll gladly take them. Number two, we get to share with you the Upgrade Mastery tip for the week. And for this week, the Upgrade Mastery tip is spending. Yes, spending is what we're going to be talking about today. And I can't wait for us to get into that conversation because it's mind-opening, right? The third thing that we get to do here is that we get to connect, network, and bond, because I strongly believe that connecting, networking, and bonding is critical, especially for the day and age that we live in. So it's important that we get to connect. It's important that we get to network. It's important that we get to bond. These are very important things we should be doing and getting good at. And number four, the fourth thing that we get to do on the show is that we get to have fun. Yes, I strongly believe that if learning is not fun, there is no learning at all. So we get to have fun while we do what we do on the Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade. And I'm super excited that we're going to have fun today. We're going to learn, unlearn, and relearn, and all doing this in the atmosphere of fun, because whatever you learn with full pleasure, you remember in full measure. So that's why we get to have fun while we are learning, because fun is a critical aspect of learning. Okay, so these are the four things that we get to do on the Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade. And I'm super excited to have you here join us. By the way, before we proceed further, do well to share this link with your friends, families, your loved ones, and even your enemies, right? This is an opportunity for them to upgrade and become better persons for themselves, right? So I'm super excited that you're here, and I can't wait for us to get into the conversation for today. Now, guys, on the Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade, you know we say we begin with taking your questions. That's the first thing we do. We take your questions. Now, while we wait for you to send in your questions so we can take them, we also get to start off with our basic 5 questions. Now, these basic 5 questions help us to set the tone for the conversation. It just helps us to lay the foundation upon which everything that we're going to be discussing about is going to be built. So we have our basic 5 questions that we get to start off the show with, so that you can be able to understand what this conversation is all about and where we are going on the conversation. So we're going to begin right about now with our basic 5 questions, right? So let's begin. Question number 1. What is spending? Now, when you hear people talk about spending, what comes to your mind? You as a person, what is spending? I want to hear from you. What is spending? You say, oh, this guy's always spending. Oh, that girl's always spending. What exactly is spending? Tell me. I want to know. Right? When you just hear that word spending, what actually first comes to your mind? Because it's always that thing that just hits your mind when you hear a word. What is that thing that comes to your mind when you hear spending? Don't go away. I want to hear it from you. Right? You know, when we define things here on the Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade, we always tell you from the upgrade side of life, right? So perhaps what we're going to tell you what spending is, you never will find it anywhere else. That's why we always tell people who join our conversations to always pay attention, because you won't find what we're talking about here anywhere. So I'll tell you what spending is while I wait for you to type out what you think spending is. Well, let me tell you what spending is from the upgrade side of life. Now, this is what spending is. Pay attention to this. You see, spending, it is what you have chosen. Spending, it is what you have chosen as value. That is what your time, money, and all that makes you you. that is spending. Whatever it is that you have chosen as value, that is what your time, your money, and anything that makes you you, that is spending. Well, interestingly, when we hear spending, what always comes to people's mind is money. There's more to spending than money. You can be spending time. You can be spending your treasure. You can be spending your talent. There's more to spending than money. So when it comes to spending, it is what you have chosen as value. That is what your time, your money, and everything else that makes you you. That is what spending is. Are we still together? So it's what you have chosen. And like the proverbial saying goes, one man's meat is another man's poison. Like I fondly like to say, one man's kilishi is another man's suya. Right? So whatever it is that you have chosen as value, that is what your time, your money, and every other thing that makes you you, that is spending. So for instance, you are here on this conversation right now. Guess what you're doing? You're spending. You're spending your time. You're spending your data. You're spending while you're here. Because you see this as value for you, hence why you are spending on this. So are you getting this? So spending is what you have chosen as value. That is what your time, your money, and every other thing that makes you you. Now, question number two. Question number two, who is responsible for spending? Who now is responsible for spending? The answer is simple. You are responsible for spending. No one else is responsible for spending but you. You, my friend, you are responsible for spending. Because you are the one who have chosen something as value. That is what your time, your money, and everything that makes you you. You have chosen that. So you are responsible for spending. So you cannot blame someone else for your spending. It is your responsibility. Are you getting this? Is this making sense? Question number three. Why spending? Why is spending important? Why is spending something we should be having a conversation around? Why is spending something we should even be talking about at this time? Why spending? I'll tell you three reasons why spending. Three simple reasons why spending. Number one, time. A very key component of spending is time. I know every person's life is measured in time. Are you getting this? So, number one reason why spending is time. You always look like what you are spending time on. Right? You always look like what you are spending time on. The number one reason for spending time. Number two reason for spending is value. Now, I know I've often told us here that value is anything that is beneficial, of help, and a solution, right? But the interesting part about value is this. What can be value for one person may not be value for another person. That's the most interesting thing about value. What can be value for A may not be value for B. So many times, value is person specific. But regardless of what value is to you, you place spending based on value. For instance, you are here now watching this at this time, it's because you place value on this. That's why you're here. You place value to be on the Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade. That's why you're here. So the second reason about spending is value. Whatever you value, you will be spending on. You see this also apply in relationship. It's a basic fundamental principle. Whatever people value, they will be spending. whether it's their time, whether it's their money, whether it's their resources, whatever they value, they will be spending. So the second reason why spending is value. The third reason why spending is pleasure. Pleasure. People will be spending on whatever gives them pleasure, whether it's good, whether it's bad. As long as it gives them pleasure, they don't mind spending. Are you seeing how this thing works? People will spend on whatever it is that gives them pleasure. You know, they say that there are two things that people would always do. They'll do things that will give them gain, and they'll avoid things that will give them pain. Say that again. They will do things that will give them gain and avoid things that will give them pain. That's to tell you how people are well into whatever gives them pleasure. So if XYZ gives someone pleasure, that person will be spending on XYZ. It's about the pleasure. So 3 reasons why spending. Number 1, time. Number 2, value. And number 3, pleasure. Now, question number 4. What are the benefits of spending? What are the things that you benefit when spending is taking place? What are the benefits of spending? I'll tell you 3 benefits of spending, right? Number 1, impact. Every spending has an impact. It impacts you, that is spending. It has an impact. Whether negative or positive, it has an impact. Every spending has impact. Number 2 is effect. Every spending has an effect it has on you who's spending. It impacts you. It affects you. There's effect on it. You know, there's always cause and effect. There's the effect that happens because of spending. The third benefit of spending is that it can be addictive. It can be addictive. People can get addicted to their spending. They even would want to stop, but they can no longer stop. They're already addicted to the spending. 3 benefits of spending: the impact, the effect, the addiction. Is addictive. It's addictive. And you know, impact, effect, addictive is either good or bad. So for instance, I'm addictive to showing up here every Sunday, regardless of where I am in the world. It's a good spending. That's a good spending. And you also, you're addictive to showing up here to be with me every Sunday. That's a good spending. Right? But unfortunately, some people, when they hear addictive or addiction, they always just think negative. There are also positive addiction. Also positive addiction. Waking up every day, saying your prayers, reading your Bible. That's the positive addiction. You can be addictive to fellowship. That's the positive thing. Having communion with God every day, that's a positive thing you can be addictive to. So 3 benefits of spending: impact, effect, addictive. Question number 5. When is the best time for spending? Now we know what spending is. We know who's responsible for spending. We know why spending is important. And the question is, when is the best time for spending? When is the best time? When is the best time for spending? You know, I always say this, that the last best time for anything was yesterday. The next best time for spending is now. Now is the next best time for spending. Now the question is, how have you been spending? Because the truth is, before now, you have been spending. But after now, you will now be spending rightly. That's the truth. Before now, you have been spending. That's why I told you earlier that no one is immune to spending. Rich or poor, we are all spending. No one is immune. Right? Even before we're having this conversation on spending, you have been spending. And you will still keep spending even after this conversation. But the only difference now would be that you'll be spending the right way. That will be the only difference, because spending will continue. As long as you're alive, you will be spending. You will be spending. And see, the truth is this: everyone is spending. They may not see the cost because a price is not attached to it. I'll say that again so you can understand this. Everyone is spending. They may not see the cost now because a price have not been attached to it. But the truth is, everyone is spending. Whether you see the cost now or you see the cost later, you would realize that everyone is spending. And that's why we said that the result from spending will be seen. It will always be seen. The result of spending, it will be seen. You can't hide it. It will be seen. Now, let's get into spending itself, because we're about to take this up a notch. Let's get into spending. S-P-E-N-D-I-N-G. Spending. Right? Let's talk about spending itself, and let's break this down. Are you still here? Is this making sense for you? Right? Put a comment in the comment section so I know you are still following, right? So I can know that we are still in this together. Leave a comment in the comment section. Just type spending in the comment section. Just write spending. S-P-E-N-D-I-N-G. Spending. Just write spending in the comment section so I know that you are still following this conversation, right? Okay, so let's begin. Now, the S in spending talks about satisfying. See, whether you accept it or not, whatever you are spending gives you a certain level of satisfaction. It is satisfying somewhat. That's why you are spending, because it's satisfying. If it is not satisfying, you probably will stop spending. But the reason why you have not stopped spending is because it is satisfying. Spending is satisfying. Are we here? Is this making sense for us? Spending is satisfying. That is why you and I, we are spending. There's something that satisfies us while we are doing it. So whether good or bad, spending is satisfying. It is. The P in spending is planning. You know, sometimes you feel like, oh, some people don't plan. That's why they are the way they are. But you know that even those who are spending, they still do planning. Like they say, when you are failing to plan, you are planning to fail. It's still part of planning. In spending, there is planning. You plan that you are going to spend X amount of time with X someone. It's planning. You say you plan that you're going to spend X amount of time in learning a certain skill. It's planning. For every spending, there is the planning. There's a planning. So the P in spending is planning. So you're online, you're chatting up someone, or you're scrolling Instagram. You are planning to spend your time that way. That's why you're doing it. And that is even because you even have data. That's why you're doing it. Because if you don't have data, you will not be online. But because you have data, you can't be spending time doing mindless scrolling because you have data. And that in itself is you planning to be online. That's why. Because you do whatever you can to have data. That's planning so that you can be online. I'm getting this. I said this recently to a certain group of fresh graduates. I said the same way you took effort in planning your final year week, that's the same way you should take effort in planning your future moving forward now that you're a graduate. Still planning. So the P in spending is planning, right? The E in spending is experience. Now, because spending is satisfying, because there's the planning that it gives, there's also the experience that comes from spending. It's a certain experience you now gain as a result of spending. So the E in spending is experience. There are things you are now exposed to. There are things you now know because you are spending. See, one of the things that can never be bought off the counter or off the shelf in a mall is the experience. And spending gives you experience. As you are spending, you are gaining experience. You are learning some things you never would have learned if you were not spending. So the E in spending is experience. It's experience. There's a certain experience you now gain because you are spending. Are you understanding this? The N in spending, the first N in spending is that spending is nice. Spending is fun. It's nice. That's why you see that people can be on their mobile devices for hours. They're spending time. It's fun for them. It's nice. And then they realize that, oh, they've never had breakfast. Oh, they've never had their bath. But they've been spending time. So what does that tell you? Spending is nice. They may not accept it. They may not believe it. It doesn't change the fact that spending is nice. And people are spending because it's nice. It's a nice to do. Spending is a nice to do. It's nice. It's nice. Now let's look at it from the perspective of when you're spending money. It feels good. It's nice. When you're ordering whatever you want, it's nice. There's a feeling. It's nice. Spending is nice. Are you getting? That's why I told us earlier that whether you are rich or you're poor, everybody is spending. Because spending is nice. The feeling is satisfying. There's the experience it gives. That makes it nice. Spending is nice. So you see people who are spending, it's nice for them to do. It's nice. The D in spending is a desire. Whether you believe it or not, whatever you're spending on, you had a desire about that thing. Even scripture tells us in Proverbs 18:1 that true desire, a man having separated himself, seeketh an intermediate with all wisdom. True desire. There's always a desire. That's why you are spending. You may not openly accept it, but there's always that desire. That's why you're spending. So when you're on social media doing mindless scrolling, there's always that desire. That's why you're there. There's always that desire. So you cannot take away desire from spending. You can't take it away because it's satisfying. There's planning, there's experience, it's nice. It feeds your desire. That's why you're spending. It feeds your desire. See, you would never be spending on what you don't have desire about. It's not possible. Like, ain't gonna happen. You will never be spending on what you don't have desire about. You may not accept it openly, but that's the truth. You are always spending on what you have desire for. What you have desire on. That's why you're spending. If you have no desire, you will not be spending. You will not. You move away. You move on. But because you have desire, that's why you're spending. Jacob could spend 7 years so he could marry Rachel. And even when he was deceived, he spent another 7 years because he had desire. Jacob literally said, for the love he had for Rachel, 7 years seemed but a few days. Read your Bible, is there. Genesis 29:30. For the love he had for Rachel, 7 years seemed like a few days. That's what desire can do. Spending because of desire. So the D is desire. The other I in spending is interesting. I told you earlier that spending is satisfying. I told you earlier that spending is nice. Now I'm letting you know also that spending is interesting. You love the adventure. You love the places it leads you to. Spending is interesting. Spending is interesting. Spending is never boring. Never. It's never boring. It's always interesting. It's always interesting. So you see people when they are chasing or trying to woo a girl, they have interest. It's always interesting to them. Even when the girl is saying, no, I'm not interested, they're still pushing because it's interesting for them. They love the chase. They love the chase. It's interesting for them. Spending is interesting. Right? Spending is interesting. And then the second N in spending is that it is natural. It is natural. See, there's this natural tendency in everyone to be spending. It's a natural thing, whether you have or you don't have, whether you're rich or you're poor. The natural thing within for people to be spending. The natural thing. Right? Even God would come in the cool of the day to have fellowship with man. It's a natural thing. David said, I was glad when they said unto me, let us go to the house of the Lord. It's a natural thing to be spending. It is actually abnormal when you are not spending. You should question you if you are not spending, because the natural thing to be spending. Something should be wrong with you if you are not spending, because it's a natural thing. It's a natural thing to be spending. And then the G in spending is that it's gradual. You move from one stage to the other. It's gradual. Spending is gradual. You move from one level to the next. It's gradual. It just keeps improving. It's gradual. But spending is taking place. Right? You can start from, you're just talking for a few minutes, and then it's gradual. You're not talking for hours, and then it's gradual. You're not talking for days. Spending is gradual. You're spending time. It's gradual. So this is what spending is. And everybody is spending. It's satisfying. There is planning. It's experience. It's nice. It's desire. Is interesting. It is natural. And it is gradual. This, my friend, this is spending. And every one of us, we are spending. Like I told you, spending is beyond just spending money. Spending your time. You're spending your efforts. You're spending your resources. You're spending your service. All of these are spending. They're all spending. But anytime we hear spending, what just comes to our mind is, spending money. No, beyond that, that's an aspect of spending. That's not all that spending is. Jacob stayed with Laban for 20 years. He wasn't spending money. The first 14 years, he was using it to pay bride price for Rachel and Leah. He didn't exchange money with Laban, but he was spending time with Laban. Are you getting this? So spending, like we defined earlier, it is what you have chosen as value. That is what your time, your money, and all that makes you you, that is spending. Jacob literally told Laban that I will serve 7 years as the dowry for Rachel. That was spending. 7 years. And then he was cheated. He said another 7 years. And the same Jacob said for the love he had for Rachel, 7 years seemed but a few days. So you think it's only when you're spending money, you're spending. No, when you're spending time, you're spending. When you're spending energy, you're spending. Right? So there's a lot of spending going on, even without money. That's why you need to pay attention. When you're scrolling on social media, you're spending. When you're on TikTok, you're spending. You're spending. Are we still here? When you're watching this, making notes, sharing with others, what are you doing here? You're spending. You're spending. That's why we don't take you for granted. That's why we appreciate you for being here, because you are spending. See this, guys. 3 things about spending you need to understand. Three simple things about spending that I want you to understand and always remember. Number one, spending is engaging. Right? Whatever you're spending on is engaging. It engages you. Spending is engaging. It is engaging. Before you know it, it's already done. It's already ducks or it's already done. You don't know how much time you spend because it's engaging. You know, back in the day when I used to do Google digital skills training with Google, right? There was this statistics that came out then that the average person spends more than 8 hours daily on their devices. The average person spends more than 8 hours on their devices. Why? It's engaging and they don't realize that they are spending. Because when you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing that you reach out to? Your phone. Because it's engaging, your phone. In fact, I often tell people that if you want to see real heartbreak, wake up in the morning and then your phone doesn't come on. Just imagine a scenario where you wake up in the morning, your phone, it just doesn't come on. It's fully charged, but it doesn't come on. That's the real heartbreak. Why? Because your phone is engaging. In fact, I jokingly say that if people have an accident mistakenly, the first thing they will check that if anything happened to it, it's not themselves, it's their phone. If they're using a Samsung phone, they'll check their phone first before they even check themselves if they sustain any injury. Why? Because that device is engaging. So 3 things about spending. 1 is engaging. 2 is entertaining. It's fun for people. That's why they don't even realize that they are spending. Because it's fun, it's entertaining. People prefer entertainment over anything today. That's why everything you see happening around the world today is laced around with entertainment. People are addicted to entertainment. As long as it's entertaining, let's go. Why? Spending is entertaining. Right? It's entertaining. So number 1, it is engaging. Number 2, it's entertaining. Number 3, it's educating. See this, guys. Whatever you're spending time on is educating you. It's educating you. You're learning something that you probably should not be learning. It's educating you. See, don't joke with spending. No. Good or bad, spending is educating you. So 3 things about spending you should always remember and pay attention to. Number 1, it's engaging. Number 2, it's entertaining. Number 3, it's educating. Spending is educating you more than you realize. And see this, there are 2 traits of spending. Once you see these 2 traits, know that this person is spending. 2 traits. Number 1, time. Number 2, talent. Once you see these 2 traits, you will just know that this person is spending. Their time is there. And I told you earlier, what you use in measuring your life is your time. Nothing else, your time. And what do you use the most when you are spending? Is your time. So the 2 traits about spending is 1, your time. 2, your talent. Because if your time is invested, your talent will get there too. That's why scripture says, where a man's treasure is, there will his heart be also. And you know what a person treasures by what they are spending time on. You can say, oh, I don't like Instagram. But are you on Instagram? Say, oh, I don't like TikTok. Are you on TikTok? Whatever you are spending time on is a reflection of what you truly value. You see people who are in relationship and they say, oh, they hate whoever they are in relationship with, but they're still spending time with the person. You don't really hate the person. You don't really hate the person because attention will produce affection. So two traits of spending is time and talent. The one goal of spending is to transform. See, you will become like what you are spending. You become like it. You become like it. You know, even Jacob, when he was trying now to outsmart Laban, God gave him an idea. He put some pills, speckled pills, in front of where the animals were going to drink and meet. The animals had offsprings that had speckles on them. You become what you are spending. You become it. Because spending, the ultimate goal of spending is transform. It's transform. Notice that the people you spend time with, you start to have some of their mannerisms, you start to think like them, you start to talk like them. It's transform. You catch yourself like, no, it's transformed because of spending. That's why scripture says that evil communication corrupt good manners. Why? Because spending transforms. It transforms. You see that in 1 Corinthians 15:33. Evil communication corrupt good manners because spending transforms. Let me tell you this and I'll tell you for free. You will look like what you are spending on. You will look like it. You will look like what you are spending on. You're spending time on TikTok. All those TikTok sounds will be in your head. You'll be playing rent-free in your head. You'll be playing freely without subscription in your head. You look like what you are spending on. You look like it because spending transforms. In Acts chapter 4, verse 13, they said something very striking. They said that they could see the effect spending time with Jesus had on his disciples. Because spending transformed. That's where they first called them Christians. They could see the effect that spending time with Jesus had on the disciples. So you'll be deceiving yourself to say, oh, I'm spending time with wrong people, but it doesn't affect me. It's a lie, yo. It's a lie. It's a very big lie. Like, that's you deceiving yourself. You say, no, I'm just chilling with them. It doesn't affect me. It's a lie. A big one at that. Because spending transforms. When you're hanging around those people who bet a lot, who are always doing bets and all of that, very soon, you will be tempted. That's why scripture says in Proverbs 13:20, he that walks with the wise becomes wise. But the companion of fools will be destroyed. There's the effect of spending. There's the effect. They say that the sixth person in the midst of 5 billionaires is the sixth billionaire in disguise. The same way, the sixth person in the midst of 5 fools is the sixth fool in disguise. You become like what you are spending time on. You will become like it. You will become like it. So you have to be mindful of the things you are spending on because they will transform you. Unfortunately, I said this earlier and I'll say it again. When people hear spending, what comes to their mind is money. There is more to spending than money. Now, you don't even have money, but are you not spending time? Let's be real. People right now, they are as broke as a joke, but they are still spending. They're spending their time. They're spending their energy. They're spending their talents. So spending is not just about money. There's more to spending than money. In fact, money is the least of your spending. Money is the least of your spending. No wonder someone rightly said that don't be so poor that all you have is money. I'll say that again. Don't be so poor that all you have is money. See, spending can involve your time. It can involve your talent. It can involve your treasure. Spending can involve all of these things I just mentioned. Your time, your talent, your treasure. It gets involved with your spending. Most importantly, your time. Most importantly, your time. I told you this earlier. Everyone is spending, whether they are rich or they are poor. Everyone is spending. Whether you are a slave or you are free, everyone is spending. As long as you are alive, you are spending. The only time you stop spending is when you are dead. But as long as you are alive, you are spending. And you see, spending has a way it reflects your value. You know our definition earlier about spending, we said spending, it is what you have chosen as value. That is what your time, money, and all that makes you you. And you see, spending has a way that it reflects your true values. So the things you are spending time on is letting us know the things that you truly value. And you know, I've often said it that you know what a person values by two things: how they spend their time and how they spend their money. These are the two things that will help you know what a person truly values: how they spend their time and how they spend their money. And spending reflects your true values. You say, no, I don't like social media, but you wake up and sleep on social media. Oh, no, I don't like TikTok, but you're always creating new videos and following new TikTok trends. You can lie to yourself. But where you're spending on reflects your true values. It reflects it. It reflects it. And the earlier you accept this, the better for you, right? You see, you know what a person values, what the person holds as discipline, and what the person believes as principles through their spending. So you want to see what the person values, what the person has as discipline, what the person has as principle. See their spending. Look at their spending. You will see what they value. You will see their discipline. You will see their principles. Just look at what they value. Look at what they are spending. You will see all of these things. Did you get that? Look at what they are spending. You will see their values. You will see their discipline. You will see their principles. It's all reflected in their spending. Now, let me tell you some ways that people are spending. I use the example of time. I use the example of money. I use the example of life. Let me tell you some ways that people are spending. When it comes to time, look at how people are spending on social media. Money through lines, they're on social media. Everybody is automatically now a content creator or a business owner. They are all on social media. It's spending. Right? People are spending also on movies and series. They are binge watching. It's spending. That's part of spending time. It's spending. Right? People also are spending time on gossip and gist. It's also spending time. It's spending too. They will gist from morning till night. They will gossip from morning till night. It's still part of spending time. It's spending. To gossip everybody in the whole world. What's happening in Ukraine, what's happening in the US, what's happening in Nigeria, what's happening in Canada, what's happening in America. They'll gossip. They'll say, oh, it's gist, hot gist. It's spending time. It's spending time. You can still also be spending that same time learning skills and learning things that will benefit your life. It's still spending. So you see how people are spending time. Some are spending on social media. Some are spending on movies and series. Some are spending on gossip and gist. Others are spending on learning and gaining skills. It's still spending time. It's still spending time. Look at money too, right? How people are spending when it comes to money. People are betting and gambling. They've tied their betting app to their bank account. They're betting, they're gambling. It's part of how they're spending their money. And those who are doing drugs and alcohol, it's part of how they're spending their money. While there are those who are doing investment, it's also part of how they are spending their money. So you see, it's always going to be up to you how you are spending your money. Are you going to be betting or gambling? Are you going to be doing drugs and alcohol with it? Or are you going to be investing? Whichever you do, you will be spending. And you'll be spending your money. And look at life. There are those who are spending their life on their careers. Just want to grow on their career ladder. They just want to grow. They're spending their lives on their career. Even when their family may be suffering from it, but their career needs to grow. They're spending their life on career. Others are spending their life on their businesses. As long as their businesses are growing, even though their family is being destroyed, they don't care. Their businesses are growing. Why? Because that's what they are spending their life on their business. You know, there's the saying that you spend your life to chase wealth, and then you get the wealth, and you're spending the wealth to chase health. It's spending. Right? But there are others who are spending their life on their family, ensuring that their families are good, their families are put together, their families don't have family trauma. It's also part of the spending. You see, spending would always be happening. The difference would be on what you are spending on. Did you get that? Spending will always be happening. The only difference is going to be what you are spending on. Spending will always be taking place. Always be taking place. I told you, rich or poor, we are all spending. We are all spending. And let me give you this analogy. I hope this will help you. Spending, learning, living. That's when it's done rightly. Spending would help produce learning, would help produce right living when it is done rightly. When it is done wrongly, spending will produce addiction, will produce destruction when it's done wrongly. I'll explain that again so you can understand. When it's done rightly, spending will produce learning, which will produce living. When it is done wrongly, spending will produce addiction, it will produce destruction. The question now will be, which of the spending do you want to be doing? Doing it right or doing it wrong? Which one would you be doing? Know this, guys. What you are spending is influencing, changing, and transforming. I call it ICT. What you are spending is influencing, it is changing, it is transforming. It's the ICT of spending. It's influencing, it is changing, it is transforming. This is happening as you are spending. It's influencing you, it is changing you, it is transforming you. And you see, spending can produce a predictable future because the more spending takes place, the more transformation occurs. So, spending can produce a predictable future. The more changing takes place, the more spending takes place, the more transformation occurs. Did you get that? Like I told you earlier, attention will breed affection. And that is an impact of spending time. You may not like somebody initially, but when you keep spending time with the person, soon enough, that attention will start to breed affection. That's an impact of spending time. It happens. It happens a lot. I see. If you do not want something in any way, then do not be spending on that thing. I'll say that loud and clear so that those at the back will hear, right? Those at the back should hear. If you do not want something in any way, then do not be spending on that thing. Those guys at the back, those ladies at the back. Okay, great. We are back. We had a little bit of network challenge earlier. I said, for those of us at the back, please listen again, listen again, listen again, listen. If you do not want something in any way, then do not be spending on that thing. Do not be spending on that thing if you do not want it. See, some people say they dislike something, but they like spending. How does that work? You can't dislike something and like spending. How does that work? How does that work? Once you start spending, it won't be long before other things would follow. Once you start spending, other things will follow. See, spending is a true measure of interest. You know, if I want to know what truly you have interest on, I will look at what you are spending time on, what you are spending generally on. A true measure of your interest is seen in your spending. Are you getting this? A true measure of your interest is seen in your spending. If you don't like XYZ, you should not be spending on XYZ. Spending is a true measure of interest. And you see, where there is no interest, there is no spending. Where there is spending, there is interest. Did you get that? That is just as simple as it can be. Where there is no interest, there is no spending. Where there is spending, there is interest. Let me use Okay, sorry about that. We had a little bit of network challenge. I was saying something. I said, if you don't like a TV program, you change the channel. You're watching a TV program, I don't like the TV program, you change the channel. If you don't like the spending, change the interest. It's as simple as that. Just the same way you take the remote and change the channel of a TV program you don't like, the same way, if you don't like the spending, change the interest. And interestingly, improving your life will come down to your spending. You want to improve your life, it will come down to your spending. It will come down to your spending. See this, guys. You were born empty, but you live life spending. When you were born into the world, you were empty. But as you live in the world, you will be spending. And you see, when you change your spending, you will change your life. Now, the question is, are you ready and willing to change your spending? Because changing your spending is changing your life. Guys, this is it. This is the conversation for this season. And I hope that you have learned something from this conversation on spending. I hope it has given you a better perspective to spending. So now you know what spending is all about and how it affects you as a person and what you must be doing should in case you have been spending wrongly before now. Like I said, the only thing that this conversation will do for you is that it will now help you redirect your spending. Because before now, you will have been spending. And after now, you will still be spending. The only difference now is that you now know what you should be spending on and what you should no longer be spending on. Because spending reveals your values, reveals your interest. And spending influence, change, and transform your life. So you cannot take spending for granted. You just can't take spending for granted because it's influence, it change, and it transforms your life. So guys, this is it. This is our conversation on spending. And I hope that you have learned something on this conversation on spending, and moving forward, you get better with your spending than you used to. Because the truth is, improving your life comes down to your spending. So are you going to improve your life, or you are going to continue business as usual? Which I strongly encourage you do not, because you can improve your life just by improving your spending. So guys, I want to appreciate all of us for staying through on this conversation from the beginning to the end. You are the real VAP. Thank you for spending your time with us on the upgrade side of life. Like we always say, 3 things will happen for you in this new week. Yes, 3 things will happen for you in this new week. Number 1, increased voice of God. Number 2, open heavens over your life. And number 3, more angelic activities in all that you do. Remember, there's always more on the upgrade side of life. And that's why we encourage you that you leave good behind so that you can upgrade. And what better way for you to upgrade but to improve your spending? So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for staying true. Thank you for comments. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for sharing. Do well again to share this to your friends, your families, your loved ones, and even your enemies, because they too need to improve their spending, because we're all going to look like our spending. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you again on another exciting session. Like we always say, there's always more on the upgrade side of life. That's why we encourage you and you leave good behind so that you can upgrade.